Go back to sleep.
Okay. All right. Hey, here we go.
Good for you.
Head up. All right. First, I got one example I'd like to go through here. This is the one that you should have had on the board on Tuesday. You should already have your notes. Take your notes out now. It's not. Well, then you don't want to read. Okay. All right. Today we're going to go through 3 proofs. One of which is this one. The second one's kind of a mock proof. It's just to talk about a property that's in this problem. And then the third one is the one that your group will be doing, and you'll be presenting one piece of it on the board. And it could be completely random. You may not be picked. You may not be. Your group might be picked. It's totally at random, and I'll explain that when we get there. Okay? So you got to be ready to go. On this problem, there was 2 problems that I picked out that I wanted to do a real-life type of problem. This one was one of them. The other one was converting miles to kilometers per hour. Okay, because I was trying to think of like what would be something realistic where you have to actually do a conversion. This is one of them. Now, the reason why I ended up picking this one is because the last property that's in it, the last property on this proof, because it's a very short proof, if you have the shortcuts, the last property is unique. We haven't seen it since the first day we introduced properties, and that was what ultimately ended up me picking this problem. But I want you to see it. We'll go through it. It's pretty straightforward. I would like you to have it in your notes. So I know on Tuesday we wrote this problem down. So you should be already with the story problem, unless you were gone Tuesday. All right. So now, step 1. How do you always start a proof? Okay, givens. Now this one is unique because the given information was provided right here. It was already a formula. That's unique. Usually they don't start you off with a formula. This one did, just right off the bat. So step 1, C equals 5/9, parentheses F minus 32, and that is our given information. Now, why this is unique? Like we already know how to do step 1. You write all the givens. Fine, we have the given. We do a bunch of work. You get down to whatever line this is going to be down here. What are we trying to prove? What are we trying to prove? F equals 9/5 C plus 32. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. Now, the red flag that should be going off in your head when we're doing this, like that, we have to get down to that at some point. We have to do a little bit of work to get there. The red flag that went off in my head when I saw this problem was, I looked at what we started with and what we end with. There's a huge, huge thing. Where is the F up here? In the parentheses, it's on the right side. Do you agree?
Yeah.
The final answer is on the left side. That's a big red flag. I have to get my answer to be identical to that one. So at some point, I will have to switch the right and left side. I'll have to either move things around, but I need to get that F to the left side. That's something that you need to know. Usually that property, we've introduced this a long time ago, but that property is usually the symmetric property, when you want to flip the right and left side. We're going to show how that works in this problem. You can do it at any point. I'm going to do it at the very last step. So at some point, I will have to flip this thing around so it looks like this. Does that make sense? It's just, this is what ultimately led me to pick this problem, was because where the F sat at the very final and where it started at. They're on completely different sides. So that's what I wanted you to see. Okay? All right. Let's go through this proof. It's very, very short, but it's unique because it's different than all the other ones. Because I left the outline of proofs over there. You can see it. That's the outline I gave you last week, or I should say earlier this week. I gave you that. I'm going to leave that up there through test day because it's nice to see. So we're given information. Boom. Line 1 is given. The difference is line 2 for me will not be defining a vocab word. I don't need to define what Celsius is. I don't need to define what Fahrenheit is. I don't have any weird symbols. What I need to do is I need to think about that. They already gave me a formula. So I'm almost like, if you think about that step, that order that I have over there that I'm pointing at, I'm already at step 3. I'm already at the formula. All I need to do is rearrange this thing. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, the order that we need to go in. The order has to be the inverse order, because this is an equation that has equal signs. So this is the order that I'm going through. SADMAP, right? If you don't think about that, you'll actually do this problem wrong. Because most people, when they look at this, they're like, oh, I'll add 32. You're going out of order. Because What I need to look for first is add and subtract by themselves. I look for multiplying and dividing, and then the last thing I should do is the parentheses. Do you agree this thing has a parenthesis? This is the last thing that I should be doing, is messing with the 32. I need to get rid of the 5/9 first. So what I need to actually do is multiply and divide. That's really hard for people to wrap their head around, especially if you have the shortcuts. Because this is being multiplied on the parenthesis. So I have to divide by it. So the first step, I guess this would be technically the second step, I'm going to divide both sides by 5/9. Because that's the opposite of multiplying. So I already know my property now, I'm dividing. Now this is the part, if you didn't have a shortcut, like let's say you didn't do the worksheet yet, that means you got to write this step down, the divide by 5/9, write division property of equality. Go to the next one where you cancel out the one side, make ones, that's reciprocal. You multiply the ones off, that's multiplicative identity, and then you can sub and get to your answer. And then you'd have to keep going. That's a long step. That's 4 steps past what I'm doing right now. If you have the shortcuts, you finish that worksheet, I can just go immediately to the answer once I knew what I'm dividing by. Like on this side, the 5/9 will cancel. They'll turn out to be ones, they're gone, that's the shortcut. This side, when you divide by a fraction, here's the shortcut most people don't think of. You multiply by its reciprocal, and a reciprocal has 2 different definitions. But when you divide by fraction, what you do is you actually flip over the fraction and you multiply it instead. You multiply the 9/5 onto the C. This side, the 5/9 are gone, and left with F minus 32. That is the division property of equality. That's what I did to both sides. Property of equality. It's different than everything that you've seen before. That's another reason why I kind of liked it. Okay, makes sense. Question?
I'm switching the 9 and 5, that's not a property.
No, just dividing both sides. Like doing that, that's just an answer. Because you're doing shortcuts. I know it's called reciprocal, like when you flip things, but you divided both sides and just writing down the answer is the shortcut. So knowing that you can just take it, instead of dividing by fraction, just flip it over, you're good. That's part of the shortcut. It's part of the luxury of you doing. Okay, next, how to get rid of the 32?
Oh yeah.
Add it. You're going to add 32 over 32. That will get me to my third step, which if I add these together, this is going to be 9/5 C plus 32. I can't actually add those together because there's letter versus numbers. The other side of the 32's cancel because again I have my shortcuts. And what I did to both sides is I did the add property of equality. Property of equality. Yeah, so you have to write of equality. Now, do you agree it's not exactly the same as what I'm trying to prove? Okay, it looks close. Like most people are like, word, it means the same thing. Yeah, but you need to make sure what you're proving is identical. Like this, I'm trying to prove that. It needs to be identical to what I'm trying to get. I'm super close. All I need to do is flip the right and left side, and that's symmetric property. So this is my last step. Step 4, ... All I'm going to do is flip the right and left side. So the F is going to come over here. The 9/5 C plus 32 is going over there. I just flip the sides. That is called the symmetric property. You could have done this at any point in the middle of the problem, but just noticing that you can flip the right and left side and nothing changes to negatives or whatnot because you flipped everything. And I kept it in the exact same order that they're written. That's it. That's the final step. It took 4 lines, but a lot of people would not know the symmetric property. They wouldn't even think you'd have to do that. They would just get down to that blue line and be like, oh, that's it. I mean, it's the same thing. You have to go to exactly what they have. Now, I did say I was going to do a secondary proof. The secondary proof today, like this is like my second proof, is a mock proof. I'm making up this problem. I don't even have a picture to go with it because I want you to see the difference between symmetric and commutative properties in the middle of a math problem. And I want you to see this. So, does everyone have this problem down? I'm going to leave that up there just for a second. I'm going to get rid of this picture just for a second because I'm going to make up a problem. This is just a very rough, made-up problem because I want you to see a property difference here. All right. So, first line, I'm making this up. This is where already in the middle of my proof. I'm already in it. I'm just making this up. Let's say line 1, we wrote all the givens. A is equal to B plus C plus D. We already have that. They already told me that B is a 3, C is a half, D is an 8. And what I need to get to, I need to get to at some point, line number, whatever this line is down here, question mark. I need to get that A is equal to 8 plus 3 plus half. That's what I need to get to. This is my final line I need to prove. Okay, fine. So let me walk through what we have to do here. Okay, this is all the given stuff. So this is line number 1, this is all the givens. Fine. Given information. Okay, line number 2. Line number 2. I'm going to start substituting these things in this problem because I know that's kind of what they need for my final answer. So I'm going to have A equals 3 plus half plus 8. And all I did there was substitution, right? Find A. Because again, I'm making up this problem, so I'm just bringing it around. All right, now, most people when they look here and here, they're like, oh, that kind of looks the same. I'm done. Is it exactly what I have written there?
No.
No, so I have to move them around. The simple fact of just moving single items around, not the whole entire right and left side, just like moving the 8 up, that's commutative. Do you see the difference between commutative and symmetric, where the entire right and left side flip, as opposed to just like moving one number? So just simply moving this 8 up front to put it like in front of the 3, that's commutative. Notice it didn't change negative, nothing like that. It's just the simple fact that I moved a single item to a new spot. The only time you ever make things opposite or negatives is when you're dragging them across the equal sign one at a time. Like you make them the opposite number, like you multiply or you add it or subtract it. But in that case, I didn't really move it across the equal sign, I just rearranged numbers, because you can do that for adding or multiplying. That's commutative. I wanted you to compare those so you can see when it's symmetric, when it's not. Because some people, like, you do need to make your problem look identical to what they have, so you might have to do commutative in your problem to get it to line up correctly. Because obviously mine didn't look the same as what I'm trying to prove, so I had to move some stuff around. All right, questions at all? Okay, here's the third problem. This is what your groups are going to be presenting. It's the same problem. I'm going to roll a die. Whatever group comes up, you guys are presenting. Now you're thinking, how do I do that?
Oh.
Okay, it's a random number generator. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a problem here in a second, and I'm going to use, where's my cursor? I'm going to use a random number generator that looks like this. And I'm just going to hit the generate button, it's going to give me a group from 1 to 8. Now you're thinking, or there's only 7 groups in here. Because if you look at the, you look at how many deaths and what numbers there were. If it's an 8, I go. So it's throwing in just kind of random spots, so maybe you get a freebie. You might be that one group that gets picked on the whole time, because it's randomly generated from the internet. So when I hit generate, maybe it comes up with a 1 again. So group 1 would be going again. Maybe it just bounces from like 1 to 7, 1 to 7, 1 to 7 the whole time. It's random. I'm using the internet to figure this out. Whatever group's up, doesn't matter if you know it or not, you're going to have to come up here and embarrass yourself to see if you can figure it out. Because it requires that you do need to know it before you get to your homework. So at some point you have to know it. You can't just hide in the back. So you can set up a single representative to represent you. Okay, so if you know one person has really good penmanship, but maybe you want to set up the person that knows the problem better. I don't know. So it can be a group effort. Okay, does everyone understand how I'm going to pick the groups? It's random. So, and I expect that everyone will pay attention as that group is presenting, because they have to get it right. We'll discuss if it's right or wrong and what they need to fix. Okay, so here's your problem. Boom. Okay, on this picture, this is our one problem you have. A, B, C, and D, they're on this picture. I don't know why they're not there. A, B, C, and D.
Yes.
A, B, C, and D. They're supposed to be there. Prove X is 3.
Too many shortcuts.
Okay, I will allow every group in this room at this moment to do a shortcut. So you can do shortcuts on this problem. It should follow the same order of proof that you're doing over there. So if you're like a word editor, you know what you're doing. The proof outline is over there. It's the one we did Monday and Tuesday. It's that same generic pattern. I'll let you have some time. I'm going to give you about 5 to 6 minutes here, 7 minutes. Kind of work on this. I can walk around the room. When we're ready, we'll have groups come up here and present. And no, I will not just tell you answers, so be careful. And no, I will not tell you how many steps it is. You have to figure it out on your own. Everyone's probably hoping they're group 1.
I did it.
One's the easy one.
No.
This is slightly different. I agree with the answer, but the problem is you're missing one from the order. It's a line right above that top word. And you're not having property names. That's not Yeah, you gotta do that like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, hold on. Tab Everland, all your steps.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm gonna die. 6 or 7. I'm gonna end this in 2 seconds. What? No,
This one, this word should be down.
I don't know the.
oh, never mind. I know how many letters. Plus 1 equals 7.
I'm just so confused.
One line. It's the most common one that people forget.
Please don't. Here's Kristen. Stop. You can't.
I'm holy free zone, John.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Someone get this studio.
I'll be there in 1 second.
Seriously, believe it.
Why are we running away like this is explosive?
It's literally just bread wrapped in tomato.
Okay, that's what I missed. That made me sense. I wasn't dead.
Over it.
Why is that me waiting to wake you up?
I'm gonna show my dog every morning.
Yeah, I'll walk around here in a second. I'm gonna double check.
You are Ryan from Alex.
Leaves when everyone is awake.
Your girlfriend.
No.
That's what Ryan was telling me.
You hit the back of my house.
He's like, okay, no,
No, you don't get them back.
Broke up within 2 weeks.
We did a week.
Has it been a week yet?
No, you don't get them.
Parachute face.
He's totally just a kitty in there. Like, oh shit, gotta really put me in there. Never did that. His spare technique. This is so mean. No.
I've never seen her hair.
You're just missing one line of work for me to understand.
She looks like the girl.
You're missing a line for stuff.
What?
Yes.
Did I do it?
I don't know.
It's on my list. I can overbite.
How do you use the shirt for that?
That
Look
was.
at his shirt.
No.
Show him.
That's why I was like, thanks.
What?
No, I don't use this shirt.
Oh no.
No, there's somebody that's worse.
I think it's
Well, there you go. No,
No, you ready for this?
Graduating brace
That's
this and
that.
that.
Yeah, you know, like 25 days. No, the first
Yep.
thing.
Okay. Alright. Okay, I think I gave it plenty of time here. I actually gave you a little more than I was expecting. Alright. I'm gonna roll the die for the first group. The picture's going away here in a second. So, you're gonna have to rely on your notes for it. So, hopefully somebody, whoever your representative is, will have their notes with them. Okay, alright, here we go. Let's get rid of the picture here.
That's not a thing.
That's your group that you're in. Okay, so if the dice rolls... Ooh. Okay,
When you do nose guns,
there we go. Okay, so we're gonna generate it. Here we go. If it's an 8, I go. If it's like a 1, group 1 goes. And you set up your rep. Alright, here we go. Group 3!
Oh, man, let's hope it'd be 5.
Group 3, who's 3?
Let's go.
There it is. Alright, you just have to do one line. Yes, you should.
Wait, we just have to do one.
Right over there, I have the proof already kind of set up for you. Use your marker. All you have to do is one line. That's all you have to do. First line. One line. We're gonna roll the die for the next group. In fact, you guys will hit the little mouse.
Yeah, they'll do one line.
We do one line each.
Yes.
Each
Group.
group.
Each group.
So once this group is done with their line number 1, we'll converse, and if they're correct, and if they are, they're going to go hit the generate button, and the next group will go.
She's ready.
Now, I have no idea how the generator is going to pick their numbers. They're completely random. I don't know how Google does it. They have some formula that works.
Algorithm.
Or algorithm. I don't know what it is.
Jonathan Grady.
There has to be. Alright. Okay, do we agree or disagree? Agree. Agree. That is all the provided information that is given that as a reason. Go hit the generate button. Nice job, group 1. Okay, hit it. Hopefully it's not group 3 again. Who's hit the generate button? And move the cursor down.
7.
Hit it. 7!
Oh, yeah.
Group 7, you're up. Next line. Just line number 2, please. Now, hey, this is the most commonly mistaken line. A lot of people accidentally skip this property. Let's see if we can get it.
Yeah, you did.
John, don't mess it
There we
up.
go.
Oh, don't worry. Already dead. John.
John, you messed it up already.
Doing great, John.
I just said it right.
My hand itching. I said you
Wrong.
have to
Okay, step 2, here we go.
Is that right back so far?
So far,
Alright, good.
it's a good
You haven't
start.
messed up.
Is that right so far?
I left the bar, but it's fine. Keep going.
Yeah, you left the bar
It's kind of liquidy.
I left it.
Hey, you said it's fine,
You
McKenna.
messed it up.
Is that a B or D? What is that?
Alright.
Okay, keep going. Stop.
Stop.
Keep my hands up to the
I know, right?
Good, nice. Definition congruent. So you define the word, you define the symbol that we use in line number 1. Very nice. Nice job, group 7.
Thanks.
Hey,
All right.
John, quick.
Okay, go hit the generate button, please. Just hit the mouse. That's all you have to do. Watch out for the cord.
Hit the mouse. That's all you do. Hit it.
Oh, let's
Oh,
send it
Dan hit it
again.
hard enough.
1.
Uno!
Just hold grip on my power.
Sit there.
Just move. I'll be the mouse.
John, you almost had it.
Yeah, I think it was just fall for down.
Stop there, sit there.
Something that's
That shouldn't look better than
flying.
You should have fallen asleep.
Probably get a case for it.
Definition of congruent.
John.
Hey, that's one word.
No.
Let's see if we get this property right. I agree with all the, hold on, hold on.
Only one line.
Only one line.
Oh,
Uno bueno.
that's not even Spanish.
Just having that is your line of work. Now, what is that?
I don't care.
Because you're about to write the next step down.
They forgot.
Uh-oh. No, it's probably written on the board somewhere.
It might be, actually.
Probably like before.
Okay, substitution. Now, some people automatically went into the work, and I understand, if you're about to write the work on the next line, I understood that. Okay. Most people forget, like when you're getting to line 3, that's how you get to your formula. Now some of you were trying to go past that, and I was double checking to see what you were doing to get past it. This step's important, so if you haven't written that step down in your notes, fill that in. Okay, now I know most people want to go to the next line of work, because that's when you start solving it, which most people have correct. When they actually write down certain math here, because they're about to write it. Alright, so generate, you want to go hit the generate button? Just go hit the mouse, all you have to do is clean over, hit the mouse button. Just hit the mouse.
Try
Oh.
harder.
5!
Let's go. Right.
Kinda.
Got the right. Right.
Through 5. Alright, now this is the part that everyone was trying to do the work, and that they're about to write it down. They're going one step at a time.
44.
You show the work, and then just show like the main step you're doing, and then just write down the answer. So you can do the shortcut.
It's alright.
Well, I just
have cookies.
Can I write down the answer and then put the worker?
Yes, that's fine. You can do that.
I hate it. I made him this funny. I haven't eaten all yet.
Okay?
Billy wasn't there.
So she wrote down the answer, which is correct.
So basically, I took them all, but I left two.
And what was the work that you did the whole time?
They're like pepper.
Perfect. Good at that. That's not perfect. See? Boom, okay, I agree with that. Now, one quick question about your property you have. What is the full name of the property? You just say it out loud?
Subtraction property and equality.
Okay, because it looks like substitution property, so it's subtraction property and equality.
Yeah.
Be careful when you're abbreviating things. Okay, that's the line that most people want to do, and in fact, I know that your guys' group was about to write that math down, so you were waiting for it. So, okay, generation, here we go. 3! Here's your 3.
Again.
It happens, it's quite random. That's actually the first time it happened today.
It's gonna be fine,
I
guys.
have cookies
No.
in my locker.
I'm not
I
going.
finally learned.
Hey, hey. I'm gonna try one of my cookies.
I'm having none with that.
Oh, bad.
Okay, I agree with their work.
You need one.
Their final answer, good. And your property
No, you
name.
won't. Come on, locker. Hey, do my locker. I guarantee you.
Okay, perfect. All right. There's only one thing I would write differently on your answer, even though you were correct. What's something else you could put on the step 5 there that they're missing?
Dots.
I agree with their property. Their property.
3 dots.
I like the dots. Go put your 3 dots out front. Your dot, dot, dot. Put it in front of the X equals 3. 3 triangle of dots. Boom, boom, boom. All right, perfect. Now it's excellent. All right. So thank you for 3, and before I start the generation, that's how it works. All right. Okay. Perfect example of a proof. Now, before I get to your homework today, you only have select few problems you have to do a full-on proof for. So there's I think 4 or 5 that you have to do a proof. Okay. This is the order, the kind of the style I want. Unless you didn't turn in your worksheet 2-6, then it would take you probably 11 to 12 lines to do that problem. Okay. Now, other things you gotta know. The first 4 problems, it's one property name. They're asking for what property allows me to do this to this. It's not a proof. It's what property do you use. Number 5, the problem that you're going to have for problem number 5, the proof is already given to you, you have to fill in the blanks. So you have to write out the whole problem and fill in the blanks. And then the rest of the problems, there's a few proofs, and then the rest of them are just named a single property. So read the question. Do they want the full-on state the reason proof or the property name? Here you go. There's your homework. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it.
We're flexible.
It's due on Monday.
What, are you having a sword fight?
If you have your worksheet done, you can do your shortcuts. If you don't have your worksheet done, that is your first priority because you won't get it done before Monday. So you have to show the work if you have not turned in your worksheet 2.6 yet. If you have, you can do shortcuts and it shouldn't take you very long. Now, here's what I want to warn you of. Okay, the first 4, it's one single property. What do they do from the left side to right side? Oh, they added. Okay, fine, it's added property to play. Or, oh, they did symmetric where they flipped it around. Watch out for problem number 5. I think they have the full-on proof written for you. You just have to fill in the gaps. Look at it. The proof is written for you. 17, 18, same thing. The proofs are actually provided for you in the book. You can see it. You just have to fill in the gaps. I had so many people just not even see that. They didn't even look and see, oh my god, the proof is actually provided. There's like a few in here. There's like 1 or 2 in there. And then these 4 in the back. These, you do have to do the full-on proof yourself. So be careful. In fact, you might have just done one. Maybe. So, wink, wink. Okay. Okay, the rest of the time is yours. You can work at your own pace. Let's try to cut down the chatter to a minimum today. I want to walk around the room. I want to collect my cards and a little sticky note, please. And the sticky note. Take it all at once. Okay, turn to the Okay.
They said, can I do all this right?
And so in English, she gives us a new pad.
We didn't catch that.
I heard yes, don't.
How did you not catch that?
Alright.
Did she give us a new answer?
Okay, cards, sticky note, or you guys have to go twice. First one that I read was this.
Are you really?
Alright.
Tell me when we get a group of dollars.
I was expecting that. Like, I was picked twice today for 1.5. Alright, I can go up. But I didn't do it like back to back as they had to. I just did it in 2 class like that.
Yes, I'm great with
Did you
that.
do yourself?
Well, last time we went,
You have one done.
You're 1 pound under.
yeah, but I'm probably not over it, so I have to start looking.
You knew the emotional thing of the
This
call.
weekend I'll
Bring
try.
something
Are
to
you
that.
gonna
No.
What?
No? Okay.
I didn't even bring over it, my guy.
Gone, stop throwing pencils.
This is way better than just moved out.
Okay, we're still like 5 minutes or something.
I still didn't know it.
I could just use some.
Did you hear?
Camera from the break.
Keeping it down. Don't let it go. Listen to your chest.
Too late.
Yeah, so.
You fight
There's no
hard.
wrestling meeting today.
Don't worry about it.
All the time.
Don't worry.
Where's the wrestling meeting? Where's the
No.
No.
Go through the weight room.
The weight room.
That wouldn't be.
I mean, you have to buy like a size small. One's here and the other one is like down there.
No, but this right here was from her
Why?
because when they she
Those are really good at using to see my fucking Crocs.
I bet you cannot beat you up.
Yeah, okay. Can I erase
she cried one day after my
Oh yeah, I was like
little
gonna clean
because
them and I didn't give myself the reason, so I colored them.
He was like,
One single property, I think 5 is like the one where they have the proof written
Yeah,
out
it's
for you.
November 1st, basically Christmas. I have
the only time I ever made you cry was when I ran away from home.
crusty. I socked up.
Yeah, 5 is the proof written out. So all you gotta look for is one property.
When did you run away?
Once they
Go ahead,
found
please.
color feet big.
How old is
You know
it?
what pig feet mean?
Okay, let me give you a
I
pass.
still remember.
Pretty much.
Look, I would die.
It's like the year.
I forgot
two.
what you mean.
Where'd he go?
The park.
Yeah, I went to school.
What was that? I called it
I
child
planned on
bean,
putting
and then they thought I stop. It's a sex trap. You're gonna break it.
I'm gonna
Stop. How else do I keep my Crocs on?
Yeah, I was kind of stupid.
Still on.
You should put mushrooms over your shoe.
45
I'm
minutes.
probably
Yeah.
good. No. One test second retarded.
That's a good one.
My ex-boyfriend would
It's about 10 minutes
returned
of
one of
my
my
life.
shoes.
What?
I was like, oh, this is weird.
No, that's not the
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be way longer than
So
that.
then I had like one shoe. I couldn't get another shoe. I'm pissed.
I could
That
walk
mean walk out of my house for
I can walk a 10-minute mile, but I hit the
No, it's not. It's 1 through 6.
You'd be dead.
He can
1 through 7.
Wait, can you put? Yeah, look, 1 through 7. I told you.
I can run 3 miles. I can run 6. I can run 8 miles.
How come walking a mile would be way more difficult?
Because you'd have to keep up a certain pace.
The pace of really hard calves.
Way up on the scale.
Because if you're walking a 10-minute mile,
You'd be like the speed walking women.
Just over 2 minutes.
Hey, can you get my pencil? She just.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Stop. Don't.
I put it to 15.
Stop.
You can do like 2. You can do 15.
This.
No.
And
I
ganglions.
think it was in 8th grade year. I could have had a really fast mile, but then I was scared.
That's what my dad calls her.
So 2:15 and a lap.
Stop.
No.
Is she dumb?
Get my ass beat every time he says
4 laps.
4 laps.
flashback to my dad kicking my ass. What?
Oh, it would be 30
2.
minutes.
Lorna.
It would be 30
Plus
minutes.
2.
On top of the water tower.
Plus 2.
Lorna.
Plus 2 equals 8.
How did my daughter get
Okay.
up there? So
I get it.
Half times 4
Get it.
equals 2.
You remind me so much of your dad, I kind of want to
Do it.
I will.
So who is
I feel like the boat.
Too short.
Come on, buddy.
That
It's
was
like
rude.
Brody's.
Offended.
What will give you HIV neutral?
Brody.
Okay, I'll look at you.
Chaotic world. I'm HIV neutral. It's like chaotic.
Let's do this bitch. Dives in.
You're zoning out right now. Your eyes are blurred.
I am.
Should I get my body back? And I could go on the boat by myself.
You ready?
Are you guys getting a?
Ooh, killing.
What is your topic?
Steal your life.
Is that your quote for life?
I'm just looking.
Steal my food and steal your life.
Rhino. Rhino, look, you broke.
You broke it.
You made a what type of house?
Something.
Wow.
Okay, well this guy stole my food, so I steal his life.
Oh, that's me just like dying on the inside.
Dad!
It's a sheep.
Yeah, like
And then, yeah.
57.
Close enough.
Daddy!
Hello?
Help, yeah. Hello? Are you my dad? I'm my dad.
You're not my dad.
Your eyes are extended.
What?
Your eyes are extended.
That.
I'm
Oh.
What?
Thanks.
Aren't giraffes extinct? What? Aren't giraffes extinct?
Giraffe?
Ooh.
Yeah.